Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi barakatuhu. Onjara madarabe. Yeah, I just wanted to do this live video really quickly. Because this was on my mind to do it. There's often this misconception that, prior to Europeans coming to Africa, that, Africans didn't read, Africans didn't write, Africans didn't have an educational system. Africans did not have civilization. Basically, there's always this thing that says that when Europeans came to Africa, they enlightened us. When, as a matter of fact, it was the other way around. So, another misconception, too, that gets passed around is that the only people who were learned in the religion of Islam was the Arab. That basically, because of them, we were so well learned in Islam, which is another misconception. A very big misconception, actually. I beg to say, this may make people mad, but it's pretty true that Arabs actually ruined Islam for many Africans. I wanted to talk about a figure that is often overlooked in Western curriculum and in African curriculum as well. His name was Muhammad ibn Muhammad al-Fulani al-Kishnawi. And the reason why I want to talk about him is because prior to any European contact with Africa, he was way ahead of his time. Okay? Now, Muhammad al-Kishnawi, he was a mathematician, he was an astronomer, he was a miracle worker, he was an astrologer as well. And of course, by his name, he was from Fulbe tribe. Okay? Now, it's interesting to note that one of his key teachers was the father of Sheikh Usman ibn Fudiye. The teacher's name was Muhammad Fudiye, and he taught Muhammad al-Kishnawi. Now, what is he famous for? Basically, before any European contact in Africa, he wrote a manuscript that had to do with magic squares. And he made the magic squares go up to the order of 11, basically, in that manuscript. And that manuscript, now you can find it in like Cairo. I think they have it in Morocco. I think they have it in Nigeria as well. I'm not quite sure. But one thing I want to say, too, is that, yes, his name, al-Kishnawi, basically translates to Katsina, which means he's from Katsina in northern Nigeria. So that's one of the things that we must say about him. Now, he was so learned that when he went to Hajj, he stopped when he was coming back from Hajj. He went back and he stopped in Egypt. When he stopped in Egypt, one guy was so impressed with his high learning standards. Al-Jabarti is his name. He was so impressed with him that he did not want him to leave Egypt. He wanted him to stay manage his library, So after Hajj, he never even made it back to Nigeria, to Katsina. He was in Egypt, and that's where he died as well. So this tells us right here that if he was already working with manuscripts in 1700s with magic squares and whatnot, that tells us a couple of things. One, Africans were writing before Europeans came. Two, Africans were involved in high mathematics before Europeans came. Three, Africans, even with Islam, never gave up occultism. They just filtered out. They just filtered out the extras in it and organized it, because he was an astrologer as well. And what does astrology involve? Horoscopes and this, that, and the other. Of course, some scholars, there's differences of opinions. Some scholars say, you should stay away from that stuff. Other scholars say that, if it's free of all the bad, then, do it with understanding, So the thing is that we must, especially us Fula, we need to really, realize that we don't need to necessarily depend on like Arabs for the education, for Islamic education, because we've always had it. It's always been with us. We just have to go back and do it. We just have to really go back and learn it, because this is heavy stuff. If anybody knows what a magic square is, what it is a magic square is when all the numbers in a box, there's 9 numbers in total. And when the numbers are horizontal, when the numbers are vertical, when the numbers are diagonal, whatever direction it is in, all the numbers add up to the same thing. Okay? So he actually did that, and he actually revolutionized it, and he actually developed an advanced formula for this, and there's some hidden secrets in these magic squares as well, too. There's some hidden secrets that only like really, really learned people know about them. And so we just need to look at these stories, learn from these stories, be proud that we're part of these stories, and use the examples of these stories in our own lives. These are our own stories. They don't come from anybody else. They come from us. So we need to read our own stories. It's the best formula. And I think, honestly, it's a solution for a lot of our problems in Africa. We keep on wanting to use someone else's story to write our own. We need to look at our past stories, learn from those past stories, and continue. We have nothing to be ashamed of, you know? We have nothing. And no, this isn't beating our chests. This isn't me trying to get us to beat our chests. It's just me saying, hey, we were writing, we were doing advanced mathematics, we were doing other sciences, we were doing astronomy, we were doing all these things prior to Europeans coming to Africa. So there's no reason for us to aspire to try to imitate Europeans or imitate Arabs, you know. That's all I got for now. Leave your comments, leave your questions, and I will be back, Si Jabi, with more videos like this that will highlight great um, fulas throughout the histories that maybe, you know, some people are not familiar with, you know. And I will be off until the next one. Njara.